It was 1911 when a young, diminutive Vietnamese man with a heart full of excitement stepped off a ship in Boston Harbor. It was his first trip to the United States, and he was so happy to be experiencing this land that he'd heard so much about. Part of him hoped that he might even be invited to a church so that he could discover what Christianity was all about. Over the next several years, this young man would make repeated trips to Boston and New York City. But during all of his journeys, he would later report that never one time was he spoken to kindly by a single American. No one ever engaged him in conversation. He was never invited to share a meal with anyone, let alone asked to be a part of a local church. That man's name was Ho Chi Minh. And history records that after several years of trying, he left the West with a bitterness in his heart and became a sworn enemy to the United States and a lifelong atheist. I've always wondered how history might have been different if just one believer had found it in his heart or her heart to speak a kind word to Ho Chi Minh, to share a meal with him, to perhaps even invite him to church. We'll never know. But what we do know is that the call of God to biblical hospitality is as strong today as it was in biblical times. God asks us to invite the stranger in. In fact, Jesus says that on the last days, when the Son of Man comes and all his holy angels with him, he will invite some in saying, "Come, I was a stranger and you invited me in. Welcome to my kingdom." I hope that we'll all be found amongst those who are welcoming to the stranger. The State Department tells us that there are over 1 million foreign university students in the United States of America today. Over 1 million people, many of whom are destined to be the leaders in their nations around the world. Many of these young people are hungry for an opportunity to be invited into an American home and are more than willing to accompany Americans who are willing to ask them to go to church. Likewise, globally right now, there are over 250 million people who are living in a place other than the nation of their birth. This phenomenon, often called the global diaspora, means that more than ever before, God has given us a chance to join Jesus in his mission globally without even leaving home. You know, we're still in the business here at the Mission Society of sending men and women with a call to join Jesus in his mission around the world. In dozens of countries around the world, we have faithful men and women serving. But many of you who are so supportive of who we are and the mission we're engaged in are saying, "I would never feel a sense of call to go to some foreign land." I have good news for you. God has brought the world to our doorstep. There's not a single person amongst our Mission Society constituency that doesn't have it within your power to intentionally engage a member of this global diaspora, someone in your community who is a stranger in your midst. And who knows, in doing that, you may not only fulfill the desires of our King as he unfolds his kingdom, but you may be changing the course of history. We'll never know what would have happened if someone had thought to invite Ho Chi Minh in. But we do know the testimonies of literally thousands of people who are coming to this nation and finding a welcome from Christians who are willing to take seriously God's call for us to invite the stranger in. Here at the Mission Society, we're joining Jesus in his mission. I hope you'll join us as well and make a decision to reach out and change a life. You never know what difference you're going to make. God bless you, and as always, thank you so much for your support of the Mission Society.